Hey comic fans, Dave here at Ground Zero. It's Wednesday morning, and yes, it is New Comic Book Day, but that's not the reason I'm here. No, today isn't just New Comic Book Day. Today is a very special New Comic Book Day, because today is the day that Marvel decided to disguise its number 2. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Dave, isn't number 2 what Marvel kind of does best? Well, yeah, month after month, they always seem to have at least a little number 2 on the stand somewhere or other. But this week, they decided to give us something different. Now, if you'll remember just 1 month ago, actually it was the last video I did, they hit us with a brand new Daredevil number 1. By my count, the 3rd Daredevil number 1 in a row written by Chip Zdarsky. So here we are 1 month later, and it's time for the 2nd issue. But Marvel wants to remind you that this is actually issue number 650. Now, how do we get from Daredevil number 1 to Daredevil number 650 in just 1 month? Well, the answer to that is actually fairly simple, and I'm here to explain it to you in a segment we kind of randomly decided to call Interestingly Enough. Now, to get back to how we got to issue number 650, you obviously have to go back to 1964 in the very first Daredevil series. Now, I don't have a number 1 really to show you, but here we are with one pretty close to that issue early in the run. So early he was sporting the really cool yellow, black, and red costume. Let's face it, he was a blind superhero. What could you really expect? Either way, this series lasted for decades, making it all the way into the 90s, where they discovered the value to be had in double-sized, double-priced anniversary issues. We got in rapid succession issue number 300, issue number 350, issue number 375, obviously to be followed by issue number 400. Except it wasn't. There was no issue 400. You see, this series lasted 380 issues, plus a kind of snazzy -1 issue that we'll find out if it actually subtracted 1 from the numbering on the series, at 15 annuals. Now, did all of this stuff matter? We're going to find out. But it went 380 issues before they decided to pull the plug. Because you see, there was some brand new talent, a brand new wave of talent at Marvel, Joe Quesada, Kevin Smith, and they decided to capitalize on it with a brand new Daredevil series. And so we got Daredevil number 1. Now, this series was actually a big success, did really well with Daredevil fans and Marvel fandom in general, sold very well, and so it lasted really long, making it all the way through a 100th issue. We got to a Daredevil 100 by the new numbering, because this would have been issue 480, actually, if they'd kept up the old numbering. But see, already we're paying the benefits of a brand new numbering system. So, of course, this new system was rock solid and going to last. Except it wasn't. 19 more issues is all we had on the original numbering, because with issue 120, they decided, hey, wouldn't 120 plus the original 380 issues add up to 500? We can't miss out on a Daredevil 500. And so they didn't. They went back to the old numbering. The new numbering is dead. Long live the original old numbering, which they weren't calling LGY numbering yet at that point. What can I say? It was less enlightened times. Either way, we were back to the old numbering, and that, of course, was going to last well into the probably 600s, you would think. For 12 issues, at least. It lasted about 12 issues before it eventually became Black Panther, Man Without Fear. With issue 513, it was no longer Daredevil. Black Panther was the Man Without Fear, and so here we went, and I guess that was going to last for 10 issues. It lasted 10 issues, and before those 10 issues were over, we had gotten another new Daredevil series. So basically in 2011, all of a sudden we get a brand new series with Mark Waid at the helm. This series lasted 36 issues and an annual. Did the annual matter? I guess we'll find out. 36 issues. Mark Waid still on board, so of course they're going to keep this issue running. No, of course not. Even with Mark Waid still at the helm, they decided to stop the series and restart it with a brand new series, and I didn't have a number 1 of those to show you, but this is somewhere in that series. It was the new series from 2014, lasted 18 issues. No annual, but it did have a 0 issue. What does 0 add to the numbering? Does it add? Does it not add? Does it just add 0? Well, it's Marvel math, so I guess we'll find out. Well, as I said, that series lasted 18 issues and was followed by a 5th series, this time with Charles Soule at the helm. This was also a pretty successful series. This lasted longer than either of the 2 Mark Waid series. This one went 45 issues, plus 1 annual. And there we are. That brings us almost kind of sort of up to the present, except we're still a couple series away from the series that we're at now, because enter Chip Zdarsky. Chip Zdarsky is a great writer. He actually has been very adept at kind of revitalizing superheroes that have been around for a really long time. Chip Zdarsky enters, and we get a brand new Daredevil #1. Now, this series also lasted for a fairly long time. We get 36 issues, plus 1 annual, before it stops. Mostly because of the big storyline they were doing where Elektra took over, and it gets replaced by Daredevil Woman Without Fear. Now, this was a 3-issue series in between the first Chip Zdarsky series and the second or third Chip Zdarsky series, depending on how you want to phrase it, and that would bring us up to where we are now. Well, now, if you do the math here, we get 380 issues of Daredevil, plus 120 issues of the second series. That brings us to 500. So no, they did not count the -1 issue. It didn't subtract one. It didn't add one. It just doesn't exist. It also doesn't matter for the annuals. The annuals did not add to that number. So we're up to issue 512. What about the Black Panther issues? Well, they also apparently did not count. So we get the next 36 issues, plus 18 issues, plus 45 issues, plus 36 issues, which brings us to the #1 issue of the current series, which was conveniently, by their math, 649. So the new issue is 650. So what does that mean? Well, obviously, if they had counted the second series as a actual series, then this would have been issue number 650. But Marvel knows what you want. They know what you really, really want. And it's not the second issue of this miniseries to be issue 650, so they ended this series, started a new series, and we get another big, double-sized 650th issue. So obviously, Marvel knows what's sexy, and having the second issue of a miniseries be the 650th issue is not sexy. Marvel is absolutely determined to bring on the sexy, and they give it to you this week with the 650th issue of Daredevil. Now, is that clear? I mean, are we talking, since maybe they didn't want to count this particular series because it wasn't Daredevil in the suit? Well, perhaps because they also didn't count the Black Panther issues. However, that doesn't exactly hold because Elektra had been Daredevil for quite a few issues before this series started. So no, it's not that. It's just random vagaries of numbering. What can I say? Marvel knows what you like. You like sexy issues, and you're getting them. We also didn't count all these other Matt Murdock issues like Man Without Fear or Daredevil Father or Daredevil Ninja. Obviously, Daredevil Ninja has to count because it's Daredevil, and he's a ninja. Anyway, there you have it. We're at issue 650. The truth of the matter is, it's a number, people. They picked the issues that they want. They put them all together in a stew and made 650th issues all together. And you'll buy it and you'll pay triple for it because it's a brand new anniversary issue. Well, now, obviously this is New Comic Book Day, but I'm not really going to focus on that too much. We did have a couple of good new things come in that you might want to come in and pick up. Batman One Bad Day, The Riddler. It's thick, it's big. It was by somebody good. I don't remember now. Oh, Tom King. I love Tom King. Anyway, it's by Tom King. Obviously, I haven't read it yet, but it's here. And so, if you like Tom King, you'll probably want to come in and pick one up. New issue of Nightwing. And most importantly, the new issue of Marvel's Zero War. It's got Fortnite codes in it, so buy the issue, rip open the bag, take those codes out, and toss the issue, because I think that's what most people are doing. Either way, it's here. The big thing that I am super excited about is the hardcover edition of Echolands. I talked a lot about Echolands back when I was doing these videos on a regular basis. I really liked this series, mostly because the art was simply stunning. J.H. Williams just did a fantastic job on it. At first, I thought the story was kind of a generic fantasy, but no, it actually took some interesting turns. So really, you get absolutely gorgeous art, and they tell a fairly compelling story. And I got a handful of these hardcovers in, and if you come in fast enough and mention it because you saw it either on Instagram or on this video, you can pick up a upside down even, signed book plate, signed by J.H. Williams and the other guy that's not J.H. Williams. Absolutely. I'm taking one of these home. I'm really pretty excited about this. So get these. It's only while supplies last, so we've got a few of them. Honestly, if you're not in Tyler, you're not going to Ground Zero, it's possible your comic shop you go to has that. If it does, go and buy it and tell them they owe that sale to Dave Spice. And make your comic shop happy and possibly a little perplexed and puzzled. Either way, that's it. That's the closest you get to a New Comic Book Day video this week, at least maybe for a little while. As always, I'll leave you with, we love you guys. We appreciate you watching. We appreciate you waiting for these videos because I obviously haven't been doing very many. Go give your local comic shop some love. And remember, it's not about having what you want. Sometimes it's about having what you really, really want. Folks, be safe. Take care.